Hello and welcome back to the channel. After much deliberation and budgeting and planning, we finally decided to start the kitchen renovation just in time for the holidays. We go over the plans with Mike one last time, who thankfully is able to stay at the house and get started on some of the heavy lifting of demo and framing while we're packing up the car and headed to Europe for a week to visit my family. Kindly, he not only gets started without me, but also films, which enables me to put this episode together. It took quite some time for us to figure out what exactly it is that we actually want to do. The kitchen fire happening suddenly and unexpectedly caught us off guard without having any real plans. We had always wanted to renovate the kitchen and had a rough vision of what that was going to look like, but we weren't ready to do it this soon. At the end, we settled on pretty much a complete overhaul. We're removing and shortening some of these closets to give us a little bit of additional square footage and to open up a walkway. Our pantry will stay because we find it very convenient to have such a large space for food and appliance storage right adjacent to the kitchen. We are, however, increasing the size of the door. The pantry currently contains built-in shelving on all sides. We will have some shelving in there and might be able to reuse some of the materials, but the layout is going to be slightly different. There's also a little half wall separating the dining area from the living room, which we've been wanting to get rid of for a while. The floor in the closets, as well as the pantry, is tiled, which will be removed and replaced with hardwood. Mike finishes framing out the new entry into the pantry, which will eventually receive a custom sliding door. I'm back and finally able to get in on the action, so I continue with removal of some of the old cabinets and peninsula. I get everything prepped for removal of the countertops, and then Chris and Jack come over to help us carry them out of the house with a custom crib that Mike made. I don't know if you've ever carried or moved a granite slab of this size, but it's unbelievable how heavy it is. And then, amidst all of the construction, the big day is finally here. It's a lot of fun because our older son is now big enough where he's much more aware and into the whole Christmas experience. And despite the fact that we have plastic drapes going floor to ceiling and separating the construction site in the kitchen from the living room, we have a few really nice and relaxing days with great food. Always having the camera set up allows me to capture weird scenes like this, where Mike's already getting started on removing some of the additional cabinets while I'm still unloading and loading the dishwasher. We install a slop sink and leave the dishwasher connected, because honestly, going for 2 months without those wouldn't really be feasible. Next, we lay out the location of the lights on the floor. This particular one is a hanging pendant over the island, so we take extra care to make sure that it's centered. Once the location of the lights is marked out on the floor, we can transfer it to the ceiling with a laser level. We're going to be putting in the same lights that we did in the boys' rooms, so I start cutting holes with the 6-inch hole saw. After removing some additional drywall from the ceiling, we're able to run the wiring. There will be 2 separate circuits. One switch will turn on the perimeter can lights, and a separate switch will turn on the hanging pendant over the island. I install the first light, and we do a test to make sure everything's working properly. Ta-da! ceiling to be able to put a sheet of drywall back in, the camera dies. And once the sheets of drywall are up, I'm able to continue and complete the perimeter lights. Working overhead all day long makes my back feel great. We take a break from electrical and start filling in some of the big gaps with joint compound to give everything sufficient time to dry. And eventually, I'm finally able to install the last few lights, and it's time for cleanup. And despite the fact that there's obviously a ton of work that still needs to be done, we're starting to get excited because we're getting a sense of what it's going to look like once we're finished. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time.